After I released my video about Condo Oversupply Philippines, ang daming nag-comment overpriced. Some even asked, is it condo oversupply or overpriced? But here's the thing, those are two different problems. Oversupply occurs when there are more units available than buyers. Overpricing means you're paying more than what the unit is really worth. And this is where many get confused kasi kapag maraming supply, dapat bumagsak ang presyo. But in the Philippine condo market, developers keep building, costs keep rising, and buyers end up asking, bakit ang mahal pa rin? That's why we'll answer the question, are condo units in the Philippines really overpriced? Along the way, I'll break down the principles that shape condo value, go through the different market segments, and explain the core pricing and resale realities. And this isn't just for Filipinos thinking of buying their first home. Even foreigners or balikbayans who look at the Philippines and expect cheap condos need to understand the real story. Whether you're planning to buy, invest, or just curious kung bakit ganun ang presyo, keep watching. Before we even answer whether condos are overpriced, let's begin with the everyday experiences of condo buyers kasi dito talaga nagsisimula yung perception na overpriced. For example, a unit that once felt cozy suddenly feels too cramped after a few years. Some buyers keep paying but get stuck in turnover delays. Others finally move in only to find the quality and amenities don't match the promise, pero tuloy-tuloy na kailangan bayaran ang condo dues. And then some thought either the rent or the property's value would grow fast enough to cover the cost. Pero yun pala, maliit ang kita o minsan lugi pa. When you hear stories like these, it's easy to understand why people start saying overpriced. But let's be clear, feeling overpriced is different from being objectively overpriced. Kasi pwedeng mahal ang isang bagay, pero sulit naman. Think of premium chocolate like Oro. Yes, it costs more, but it tastes great and it's ethically made with quality ingredients. So worth it. Pero kung low quality ingredients ang gamit at mura na, pero hindi pa masarap, hindi pa rin sulit. It's the same with condos. Overpriced means the asking price isn't backed by the real value you get. And in real estate, value isn't just the price tag. It's shaped by core principles. In the Philippine market, these are the ones that matter most. Location. Imagine you're buying a condo. You visit one in BGC and another in Pasig City. Both areas offer similar urban conveniences, but one saves you 2 to 3 million pesos. You'd start thinking, kung pareho lang naman ang lifestyle, bakit ako magbabayad ng mas mahal? That's exactly the principle of substitution in action. When two properties offer comparable benefits, buyers naturally choose the one that delivers better value for money. BGC remains more expensive because of its order, walkability, and prestige, while Pasig appeals to buyers who want the same lifestyle at a smarter price point. Dito pumapasok ang sulit mindset ng Filipino buyer. We always weigh what we gain versus what we give up. Number 2, size and space. In Cebu CBD, a 29 square meter studio can cost more than a 36 square meters 2-bedroom outside the CBD. Mas mahal yung mas maliit na unit kasi ang binabayaran mo ay accessibility, hindi size. But if you have a family, you'll likely choose more space even if it means living farther from work. That's the principle of utility. Value depends on how well a property fits your lifestyle, not just its size or cost. Some pay more to be near, others move farther for space. Both are making the choice that fits their needs. Pero syempre kung malaki naman ang budget, hindi mo kailangan mamili. You can have both space and location. Number 3, livability. Livability is how a unit actually serves you. A 20 square meter studio with open layout, mezzanine loft design, smart storage space, a big window, and high ceilings feels bigger and brighter. A unit of the same size with a full divider, awkward corners, and small windows feels cramped. The same goes for condo dues. 3,000 to 5,000 pesos per month can feel worth it if the pool is clean, the gym is open, and security is reliable. But if amenities are closed or poorly maintained, those dues feel like a burden. That's the principle of contribution. A condo-specific feature or amenity only adds value if it genuinely improves your lifestyle. Number 4, income potential. You buy a condo expecting it to pay for itself through rental income or future appreciation. That's the ROI mindset. And in the right cities, it can work. For example, Iloilo with its strong BPO sector, growing universities, and urban hubs like Iloilo Business Park. Condos there stay in demand for both long-term leases and short-term stays. That's where the investment feels aligned with reality. Unlike in Metro Manila where oversupply and high vacancies often weigh down rental yields. But that's anticipation. Today's value is based on tomorrow's benefits. But of course, there is always risk. In Makati, for instance, many buyers thought, ayos, bili na tayo. Once natapos ang subway, tataas ang value. Units were marketed with the promise of a station right outside their doorstep. But after the Supreme Court ruling that shifted several barangays from Makati to Taguig, the project stalled. And the premium people paid expecting future value may never materialize. That's the danger of banking too much on benefits that haven't happened yet. And finally, number 5, timing. In real estate, value is never frozen. A condo that feels worth it today might not be a good deal tomorrow if the timing is off. That's really the principle of change at work. Values move because of cause and effect forces. Physical factors like new roads or flooding, economic shifts like inflation and wages, government rules like zoning or taxes, and even societal changes like lifestyle trends or remote work. All these push and pull forces, sila ang dahilan kung bakit may mga condo na biglang parang sobrang mahal at may iba naman na kahit premium, masasabi mong sulit. Those are the 5 principles of value that shape every condo. But here's the thing, before saying overpriced, you need to know the segment you're really looking at. Kasi pwedeng hindi overpriced, mali lang yung market expectations mo. Or sometimes, you already have a fixed price point in your head. Take foreigners, for example. Some still expect Philippine condos to be cheap because they see the country as a third world nation. But that view is outdated. The World Bank classifies the Philippines as a developing country with a lower middle income economy. That means condo prices are not at Singapore or Hong Kong levels, but they're also not as cheap as many outsiders imagine. Therefore, it's worth breaking down the condo market by segment para malinaw kung saan talaga nanggagaling yung overpriced na narrative at kung saan siya hindi nag-a-apply. And since most of you are probably looking at pre-selling projects, we'll use that as our main basis. Once you understand pre-selling prices, you'll see resale properties in the same segment with much clearer eyes. Let's begin with the economic segment. This is where condo prices start at around 1.8 to 2.5 million pesos based on Collier segmentation. I like to call this the gray zone. Presyong abot kaya pero hindi pasok sa government perks at hindi rin umaabot sa lifestyle o space na hinahanap ng mid-income buyers. Developments here are actually rare. Now we move into the affordable segment. Here, prices range from 2.5 to 3.59 million pesos. These are often marketed as starter condos. Typical cuts are 25 to 35 square meters, compact studios, 1 bedrooms, and sometimes very tight 2 bedrooms. For many buyers, this is the finally may sariling kwarto moment. Location is usually in fringe areas of Metro Manila or provincial cities like Cebu, Iloilo, and Davao. In tourism-driven markets like Panglao in Bohol, units can shrink as small as 22 square meters. Compared to the economic tier, layouts here are better defined, finishes are improved, and amenities include things like clubhouse to create a sense of community. Financing is mostly bank loans, sometimes Pag-IBIG. What really defines this segment is the feeling of a first real upgrade. Bigger cuts, better finishes, livable amenities. Ang problema, ang bilis tumaas ng presyo ng mga units. Kaya para sa maraming buyers, yung dating abot kaya, ngayon, hindi na. Next comes the lower mid-income segment, 3.6 to 6.99 million pesos. At this level, the options become more varied. Studios at 22 to 28 square meters, 1 bedrooms around 30, compact 2 bedrooms at about 40 square meters, sometimes with balconies. These rise in the fringe of major CBDs, BGC, Makati, Ortigas, and in Cebu, Davao, Iloilo, Bacolod, and Pampanga, usually close to malls, BPO hubs, and transport terminals. A notable submarket here is the so-called university condos. Tiny 20 to 25 square meter studios priced above 4 million pesos, marketed as halfway homes or rental investments. Financing becomes tougher. Yes, units below 6 million pesos technically qualify for Pag-IBIG, but developers rarely get accredited, so most buyers rely on bank loans with higher rates and stricter terms. Kaya, para sa maraming buyers, local man o OFW, dito na talaga ramdam ang bigat ng pagbili. Nababawasan yung budget para sa biyahe, kape, gadgets, o kahit pangbigay sa pamilya. Now, the upper mid-income segment, 7 to 11.99 million pesos, nobody's pretending these are cheap. For the average Filipino, they're expensive. But that's the point. These are not marketed as starter homes, but as lifestyle upgrades. Cuts are noticeably bigger. Studios and 1 1 bedrooms where you can actually fit a dining table and a couch, 2 bedrooms that work for small families, even compact 3 bedrooms. You'll find them in Makati, BGC, Ortigas, and master planned townships in Laguna, Cebu IT Park, and Davao Lanang. And branding carries a premium. 2 condos of the same size can differ by millions depending on the developer, address, and reputation. Some investors also treat this tier as a wealth park, not chasing high rental yields but banking on stability, exclusivity, and gradual appreciation. But here's the risk. To make the math work on rentals, you'll often need very high occupancy, and condo management can suddenly restrict or ban Airbnb. Without due diligence, what looks like a solid investment can quickly become a cash flow drag. For local buyers, the question isn't, kaya ko ba ang monthly? Because it's already expensive. The real question is saving hours of traffic every day worth the cost? And for many, the answer is yes. Crossing into the upscale segment, 12 to 19.99 million pesos. At this price, condos stop being compact and start feeling like true homes. 1 bedrooms go beyond 50 square meters, 2 bedrooms stretch into the 80s, 3 bedrooms hit 100 square meters or more. Some cuts rival the size of provincial houses, except set in prime addresses. BGC, Makati Fringe, Ortigas Cebu Business Park, even Iloilo and Davao townships. Buyers here are high-income professionals, entrepreneurs, OFWs with larger budgets, and balikbayans. What developers sell here is exclusivity. Fewer units per floor, bigger balconies, bundled parking, and amenities that feel private. Not every project lives up to the price tag. Some turn over with standard finishes, which makes buyers wonder if they're overpriced. But many in this bracket prefer it that way. They renovate to taste. Pricing depends less on turnover materials and more on land, size, and exclusivity. Is the price justified? Often yes. Prime land, larger cuts, and strong developer holding power keep value stable. But if you're chasing cash flow, the returns often don't add up. This tier is more about prestige, lifestyle, and long-term value. Finally, the luxury segment, 20 million pesos and up. These are the condos of Makati and BGC's most prime addresses, with select pockets in Cebu and Davao. The moment you arrive, the difference is clear. Hushed lobbies, private elevators, expansive layouts. Living and dining areas flow like real residences. Kitchens come with staff space, storage is generous, floors are low density. Most pay cash or minimal leverage, that's why prices in this tier stay firm. New launches also emphasize resilience and sustainability. These aren't just marketing, they are future-proof against rising costs and climate risk. Short-term rentals are restricted, and that's intentional. Luxury is about capital preservation, legacy, and privacy. Before we continue, a quick break. If you're finding value in this video, you can support the channel by buying me a coffee for those late-night edits, sending a super thanks if you've got urgent questions, or simply sharing this video with someone who needs it. This channel is still small, and creating informative content takes time and resources, so any help is truly appreciated. Thank you! So we've just gone through the different market segments, from the entry-level economic condos all the way up to the luxury tier. This leads to the question almost every buyer asks, kahit saan ka tumingin, bakit parang ang mahal ng condo? To answer that, let's look at the core pricing realities, the real forces that drive condo prices in the Philippines and why they don't simply go down. Number 1, high land value. In real estate, everything starts with land. The closer you are to business hubs, schools, and infrastructure, the higher the value. In prime cities, land prices can reach hundreds of thousands per square meter. Sa probinsya, mas mura. Pero kapag may bagong kalsada, mall, o airport, biglang tataas ang value. And it's not just about scarcity. Every city has zoning rules under the CLUP that decide what you can build and how tall it can be. Only a few parcels are zoned for high-rises, and those automatically carry a premium. Developers also practice land banking, buying land years ahead and pricing projects at future values, not what they originally paid. And many lots for sale are not clean either. Iba-iba ang may-ari at tagapagmana. This means extra costs and years of consolidation of titles. Number 2, air rights and floor premiums. When you buy a condo, you don't own the land like a house and lot buyer. you get a condominium certificate of title that gives you ownership of your unit and a small share of the land beneath it. Essentially, the right to live above the ground, or what many call air rights. And going higher comes with a premium. Two units with the same layout can differ by hundreds of thousands, even million. At kadalasan, mas mataas ang floor ng unit, mas mataas ang presyo. Pero hanggang gaano kataas ang building? That's where the floor area ratio, or FAR, comes in. FAR dictates how tall and how dense a project can be. If a landowner can't use all their building rights, they can sell them to another developer through transfer of development rights, or TDR. That's why some towers rise 40 or 50 stories while others stay mid-rise, even on expensive land. Density rules like FAR and TDR directly affect condo pricing. Number 3, systemic red tape and delays. Even before construction starts, developers face a wall of permits and approvals. And let's be honest, kung sa ibang ahensya ng gobyerno may red tape at inefficiency, sa property development, hindi exempted. International studies and local reports both point to bureaucracy and slow permit approvals as a major reason why costs balloon. Every delay means extra costs and, most importantly, more interest on bank loans that finance the project. Time costs pile up the longer approvals or construction drag on. And all of that gets added to the project development cost and built into the price of every unit. Kaya kahit pre-selling pa lang, mahal na agad ang condo. Number 4, regulatory costs. Here's the hidden cost most condo buyers don't even know exists. By law, every developer in the Philippines has to set aside a portion of its project cost for socialized housing. For condos, that's 5% of the project cost if they choose the recoverable option. Recoverable means they can legally add that expense back into the project budget. Ibig sabihin, ipinapasa rin sa presyo ng bawat unit. There's also a non-recoverable option where the developer shoulders the cost themselves. Pero in practice, halos lahat ng developers pinipili yung recoverable, which means, yes, part of what you pay for your condo is really going to fund their compliance with this law. So what was meant as housing help for the poor ironically ends up making condos more expensive for middle-class buyers. In short, you're not just paying for your unit, you're also paying for a government mandate that's already built into the price. Number 5, rising construction costs. Even if land were free, building a condo isn't cheap. Cement, steel, glass, labor, and even logistics, lahat yan tumataas taon-taon. Add stricter safety rules and default amenities like a lobby, pool, and gym, and a condo is never just a bare unit anymore. Aside from that, the taller the building, the more expensive it is to construct. Most buyers don't realize this because developers don't publish detailed construction breakdowns, and that's actually the norm worldwide for private housing. What we do know from the Philippine Statistics Authority's Construction Materials Wholesale Price Index is that costs keep climbing. And it's not just cement and steel. Higher quality finishes like stronger tiles, fixtures, or thicker glass all raise the budget. Ang problema, minsan you still pay a premium but get only basic turnover quality. The gap between cost and delivered finish is one reason some condos feel overpriced. Number 6, taxes and duties on developers. For condos priced above 3.6 million pesos, buyers pay 12% VAT on top of the selling price. On the developer's side, they don't pay capital gains tax. That applies only to private resales. Instead, they pay a 6% creditable withholding tax on the higher of the selling price or fair market value, plus their income taxes. Syempre, all of that gets factored into unit pricing. When you add it all up, a big part of the condo price goes straight to government taxes and duties. Number 7, branding and marketing premiums. A condo from a well-known developer almost always costs more kahit magkahawig pa ang unit cuts o minsan mas maganda pa ang project ng hindi sikat na developer. Why? Because branding signals trust, maintenance, and resale value. Strong brands charge more partly because buyers expect better quality and good property management. You assume elevators won't break down, waterproofing won't fail, and the property management office will take care of the building. That trust in quality is built into the brand premium. But branding isn't just about perception. It also comes with massive spending. Ads, model units, launch events, international roadshows, and high seller commissions. 3 to 5% commission, minsan umaabot umaabot pa ng 8 to 10% with gadgets or trip incentives. Syempre, lahat yan kasama sa presyo. Buyers should still be cautious though. Branding isn't everything. A lesser-known developer can sometimes offer better cuts or stronger value for money. And if a big-name developer delivers only basic turnover quality despite the premium, that branding can backfire, leaving buyers wondering if the condo is really worth the price. Number 8, marketing-driven amenities. When developers design a condo, it's not just about the units. They also plan lifestyle features that make the project more appealing to potential buyers. But they come at a cost. The expense of building them is already included in the selling price, and maintaining them gets passed on through condo dues every month. Magbabayad ka kahit gamitin mo ang amenities o hindi. And here's the reality. How heavy that burden feels depends on density. In mass market projects with hundreds of units, costs are spread out so dues feel lighter. In upscale low-density projects, the same pool or clubhouse is divided among fewer owners. Number 9, demand and purchasing power. In the Philippines, foreigners can't own land, but they can legally own condos up to 40% of the total sellable units in a project. That's why many expats, retirees, and overseas investors choose condos as their way in. Their demand often pushes prices higher, especially in prime CBDs and tourism-driven cities. Now, that 40% cap isn't always watertight. In practice, some foreigners still find ways around it, like buying through a local nominee or setting up a Philippine corporation that's 60% Filipino-owned on paper. Technically, the title may comply, but the economic interest can tilt toward foreign buyer. I'm not saying this is advisable. It carries legal and practical risks, but it's part of the reality. Foreign demand, whether direct or indirect, adds pressure to condo prices. For local buyers, this can feel frustrating kasi kahit Filipino ka, minsan kinakalaban mo pang dolyar o pensyon ng foreign buyers. The safeguard is that land ownership officially is still reserved for Filipinos. But in condos, it's different. Foreign demand directly competes with locals. That's why condo prices here don't just follow Filipino incomes. Number 10, financing and holding power. Here's the last piece of the puzzle. Why condo prices don't crash even when there's oversupply. Developers already lock in steady cash flow through pre-selling. Buyers commit to stretch monthly payments and then roll into bank financing. Once you've signed, you're locked in. That guaranteed stream of payments gives developers confidence to keep prices steady. On top of that, big developers have holding power. With deep pockets, multiple projects, and access to financing, they don't panic sell when sales slow. They'd rather hold on to units than slash prices because lowering prices hurts their brand and angers earlier buyers who paid more. And even if some buyers back out, developers are still protected. Under the Maceda law, buyers are supposed to get a refund, usually 50% of the payments made, if they've been paying for at least 2 years with proper notice and notarized cancellation. But many developers deduct so-called administrative fees or processing charges. Wala sa batas yan. It's written in the fine print of the contracts you sign. A private contract shouldn't override the law. Pero dahil pumirma ka, developers use that as their shield. Unless you fight it through HSAC, the refund you actually get is often much smaller than what the law intended. That's why prices stay firm. Developers can wait while buyers end up carrying most of the risk. So those are the core pricing realities, the forces that shape condo prices, from the cost of land to the taxes, branding, and even the bureaucracy behind it. But keep in mind, all of that only explains why condos are priced the way they are at the point of sale. The deeper question is this: does that price actually hold up over time? Because in real estate, value isn't proven when you buy. It's proven when you try to exit. And that's where resale and liquidity come in. Think about it. Pre-selling always looks like a success story. Packed showrooms, sold out announcements, buyers rushing to lock in low monthly deals. But when those same units hit the resale market years later, they face a tougher reality: direct competition with brand new launches. That's why the resale market is the real test of value. And the outcomes vary by segment. Entry-level condos struggle because maintenance is limited and newer projects look more attractive. Mid-market owners often resort to pasalo when amortizations and dues become heavier than expected. Upscale units can perform if backed by strong branding and a prime location. But even then, sales can drag without those factors. Luxury properties hold their value, but the buyer pool is so thin that transactions move slowly and discreetly. On top of this, strict anti-money laundering rules apply. Cash deals above 7.5 million pesos need full documentation and AMLC reporting. That makes high-value resales lower, more formal, and less flexible than many sellers expect. That's the liquidity risk. Kahit mataas pa ang appraised o list price ng condo mo, kung walang actual buyers na bumibili, its true market worth ends up being much lower. Some owners pivot to rentals, but yields often don't cover the monthly cost, especially if they bought at the wrong segment at the wrong time. So, pre-selling demand doesn't always equal lasting demand. And this is where the idea of pricing reality comes full circle. If resale values consistently lag behind developer prices, that's a sign the market was priced ahead of its fundamentals, meaning buyers paid more than what long-term demand could sustain. But when resale prices hold or even climb, it shows that pricing was anchored on real end-user and investor demand. In other words, resale performance is the market's report card, proof of whether pricing made sense or was simply driven by hype. Still, resale value doesn't move on its own. It's constantly shaped by three long-term forces: oversupply, maintenance, and depreciation. I won't dive deep into oversupply since I discussed that in a past video. You can watch it next if you haven't yet. The link's right there. Now, let's talk about maintenance. Condo value goes beyond the unit. It's shaped by the entire building ecosystem. Well-managed condos with clean lobbies, working elevators, and transparent condo associations preserve buyer confidence, but neglected ones quickly lose resale appeal. Kasi kahit gaano kaganda nung una, kung hindi naalagaan, mabilis ding bumaba ang tingin ng market sa halaga nito. Then, there's depreciation. Unlike land, a condo building has a lifespan. Over time, finishes fade, facilities age, and layouts start to feel outdated next to newer tech-enabled towers. Without renovation or major upgrades, value eventually flattens, no matter how strong the developer's branding once was. Together, these forces form what analysts call the long-term value curve. Some properties stay stable or even appreciate because of good management, strong locations, and limited competition. Others decline as new supply floods in or as upkeep suffers. It's a quiet but powerful reminder that condo value is never static. Hindi siya laging paakyat. It's a moving balance between design, demand, and discipline. So after seeing how value works, how segments behave, how prices are shaped, and how resales actually play out, we can finally go back to the big question. Are condos in the Philippines really overpriced? Most people expect a quick yes or no. But as you've probably realized by now, the truth is more complex than that. It really depends on what you value. Some people will pay more for convenience, a smaller studio in the CBD so they can walk to work. Others prefer a house and lot outside the metro kahit na 2 oras ang commute. Timing matters too. For the average Filipino, it's not realistic to maintain both a house and lot and a condo as a halfway home. Mahirap pagsabayin ang monthly amortization at kahit technically pwedeng makakuha ng 2 loan, hindi basta-basta mag-a-approve ang Pag-IBIG o bangko kung average lang ang income. Kailangan talaga malaki ang kinikita para mag-qualify sa parehong loans. At the end of the day, there are always trade-offs. Condos were not designed to be the default housing option. For decades, national housing policy focused on subdivisions and house and lot projects for the average Filipino family, mainly through Pag-IBIG programs and economic housing quotas. But as cities became more crowded, traffic worsened, business districts expanded, and land became scarcer, condos emerged as the premium option for those who could afford to live closer to work and lifestyle hubs. Kaya kung hindi talaga pasok sa finances mo, huwag ipilit ang condo ownership. Sometimes renting near the CBD makes more sense than locking yourself into a heavy loan. For most families, condos remain a lifestyle upgrade, not a basic necessity. If it's for investment, then compare fairly. Don't pit condos against house and lots in general because they serve different purposes. A condo is primarily about location and convenience, while a house and lot is about space and land ownership. Appreciation, rental demand, and liquidity follow different rules. The fair comparison is condo versus condo and within the same segment. That's how you'll know if a project is really overpriced or simply aligned with the market. And always plan your exit strategy. Selling a condo isn't just about finding a buyer. There's also 6% capital gains tax, which applies even you didn't actually make a profit. By law, the BIR computes it based on fair market value. Kahit lugi ka sa bentahan, babayaran mo pa rin ang buwis na yan. Now, it's true, many condos cost far more than what the average household can afford. And it's not just because of land or materials. May tinatawag tayong hidden price of corruption. Every delay, every inefficiency, every under-the-table shortcut adds to the project cost. And in the end, that cost gets passed on to you through the price per square meter. That's why accountability matters. Kung gusto natin ng mas abot kayang bahay at condo, hindi pwedeng deadma lang. Every issue we see, gaya ng mga anomalyang lumalabas ngayon sa DPWH, kailangan patuloy na pag-usapan hanggang may managot. Dahil kung mananahimik lang tayo rin ang magdudusa sa taas ng presyo. But compared to our Southeast Asian neighbors, Manila isn't always the most expensive. Condos here are still cheaper than Singapore or Bangkok, but pricier than Jakarta or Ho Chi Minh. The real problem is wages and unit sizes. Filipinos earn less, and in the economic to lower mid-income segments, the ones most average families are targeting, our so-called starter units, are often just 18 to 25 square meter studios. Developers keep the cut small to make the total price look affordable, even if the price per square meter is high. Meanwhile, in countries like Vietnam or Thailand, mid-market condos in the same price bracket can be 35 to 45 square meters. So even if the list price looks close, the lived experience is very different. Abroad, you're getting bigger cuts and more livability for the same bracket, while here, you're stretching your budget for a much smaller unit. At the upper mid-income to luxury tiers, however, the gap is less about size and more about purchasing power. Unit sizes in Manila are competitive with Bangkok or Kuala Lumpur, sometimes even larger. But for locals, affordability remains a challenge because these condos are marketed mainly to wealthy Filipinos, balikbayans, and foreign investors with stronger currencies or higher incomes. At the end of the day, it's not just about the list price, it's about alignment. If your why, your budget, and your plan line up, then the condo can make sense. If they don't, no matter how nice the amenities or how modern the lobby looks, it will feel overpriced. And here's the good news. There will always be opportunities. With so much supply in the market, you can often find better value in resale units from owners who need to exit, or even foreclosed properties if you're prepared with savings and ready for bank financing. This can give you better deals than pre-selling launches as long as you do your due diligence on location, developer, and paperwork. The smarter question isn't just mahal ba? It's sulit ba for me, my finances, and for my plans? Because in real estate, the right property isn't the cheapest one, it's the one that makes the most sense for your life, your budget, and your long-term goals. I'm sure you learned a lot from this video, and if it helped you in any way, you can support the channel by buying me a coffee. I still have so much more to share with you. You can also simply like, comment, and share this video so it reaches the people who need it most. I'm Man Clemente, a licensed real estate broker and appraiser, and this is Own Property PH. See you in the next video. Own Property PH, all rights reserved. This video and its contents, including script, narration, video clips, graphics, insights, and original research, are protected under Philippine Copyright Law, RA 8293, Intellectual Property Code of the Philippines, and International Copyright Treaty. Unauthorized reproduction, distribution, re-upload, or use of any part of this content without prior written consent is strictly prohibited.